All right, we back. A.M.University. I'm your host, Antoine Miller. Very excited to have this guest on for a second time, but in a new role this time. Former assistant coach at BCIT West Hampton and new head coach at WILLINGBORO High School for the boys. John Patterson, my boy. That sound good, huh?
That's a great introduction.
Ooh, that sound good. How you living, man?
Man, God is good, man.
Huh? God is good. Real simple, huh? Mm-hmm. God is good. That's all that matters, bro. Damn, man. New role. With a new role come new responsibilities. As some of you might know, some of you might not know. It's a tricky thing when starting a program. Because, well, you being the head of a startup program, because, you're excited about the new start and you want to win right away, but it's also a lot that comes with it.
Yeah.
A lot that comes with it that a lot of people don't talk about. But before we get into that, just how you feel about being the head coach? How do you feel about the whole situation? And how you feel about being a head coach at WILLINGBORO High School? Because you were a WILLINGBORO guy, correct?
Right. Born and raised.
Yeah. So how you feel about all that? You know, has it hit you yet? Are you still like marinating on it? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like honestly, I am, because I think as time goes along, and then more things are starting to be put into place, it's like, oh wow, like, I'm the guy now. I don't have to answer to nobody or wait for anything. Like, nah, I'm the conductor of the train. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So it's a blessing, man. And I think you put everything in God's hands, and you manifest these things, and when it's your time, it's your time. To me, it's never a no. It's either a yes, or maybe later, or have something better.
How long did it take you to realize that? Because I'm really talking to myself. Like, I wasn't trying to hear none of that. I was trying to be a head coach. Like,
when my faith got
what's wrong with y'all?
But probably about in the past few years, when my faith got stronger.
Okay.
And then when this opportunity came, I felt like I was the best guy for the job because of my work ethic and everything that I've worked for and been through over the past 8 years of coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this situation and where I'm at, this is where God said, this is your purpose now.
Yeah, I get that completely.
Mm-hmm.
I get that completely. All right, so like I said before, man, when starting a new program, like, it's very exciting, but it's a lot of tall mountain top hills to climb, because they, regardless if it was a good or bad culture, bad cultures do exist, right? Like, and bad habits and all those things do exist,
right?
With these kids, so not only do you got to break that down first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you also got to implement how your identity and what you want to be known for, right? So you got to mold all that into a positive product,
right?
And man,
it's tough, ain't it?
It's so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's so difficult, more so mentally.
Yes.
And physically on you, especially if you know what's right.
Right.
My man, Coach Orlando, one of the most prominent mentors I've had in my life, he came on the show and he said, this first season is going to be your hardest season. But it could be your only season that hard from that standpoint, right? So, with saying that, how are you, I know the season didn't start yet, it's coming up, but how are you navigating this process thus far?
I think I'm doing pretty well based off of the people around me that give me the advice.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of people, man, that, to me, opportunity comes to those that create it. But you need to have a certain character for those doors to open. I think the process has been great for me because when I have questions, all I gotta do is pick up the phone, and then there's somebody on the other side of that phone that can answer it for me. Now, is their answer maybe the answer for my program specifically? No, but you got to go into it knowing that it's going to be trial and error. And for me, how I'm navigating through it is just, hey, I'm just going to do the best that I can. Anything that comes my way, you know, to me, we're all soldiers, and God doesn't put battles in our life that we can't handle, that we can't defeat. So for me, navigating through everything, I play everything, take everything one day at a time, and tell myself that, hey, listen, man, just go out there and just do the best, and never forget the purpose, which is the players.
What you think? Because I think, you know, based off your environment in high school basketball, I think the answer to this question is drastically different. What you think your biggest obstacle is going to be in the environment that you're in? Like me, and this is one thing that I thought I was prepared for a kid, but I really actually wasn't, given the situations that I came from prior at West Tech and the other stops, Pensacola and the other stops that I was at. Like, so you got the juggernaut in the room, which is Canada High and Wilson, East Side now, right? Everybody looks at them as the crop, the cream of the crop, right? Anything else, they're not really going to take it necessarily serious. So I had a whole bunch of kids that came in thinking that way. I'm going to come here, average 30, you know what I mean, and whatever, because it's Kip, whatever, that. And I had to show them that was wrong. So it was that. Then the other thing was, I was like, yo, basketball is like really like third or fourth on my kids in Camden priority list. I got kids with bracelets on. I got kids with, you know, that got shot and stabbed and got to go through all these things, and I'm asking them to just play basketball. Like, this is a legit concern that I have to take into account as a coach and navigate that. You know, that's my environment. What do you think, being in a Willingboro environment, that's going to be your biggest obstacle just going into year one? Let's just keep it right then and there.
I think, I'm going to be honest with you, just to be completely frank, I think one of the biggest obstacles I'm going to face, and just from a basketball standpoint, is rewiring the bad habits. You know, when I watch a lot of them play, there are a lot of bad habits, and they weren't taught the good ones. So now, I think the biggest obstacle that I'm looking forward to is teaching. I mean, that's one of the obstacles that I got to teach, and I have to tell myself, all right, when mistakes are made, when things don't happen the way I think it should happen, I got to take a step back and be like, hey, listen, you're a junior and you don't know what a dribble handoff means. I can't be mad at you. You were never taught that. I can't say sit in the gap and you don't know what that means. You were never taught that. You know what I'm saying? I can't say, hey, put your foot on the line. Like, you have never taught that. So I can't just explode and be like, yo, what's going on? You were never taught that. And going to what you were saying, yes, if you know, you know. Everybody wants to coach until you coach. We're not just coaches, man. We're counselors, we're mentors, we're taxi drivers.
Definitely a taxi driver without getting paid the fare.
You know what I'm saying? We're the Dollar General, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, all right, man, I got to...
No reimbursement.
Yes, no reimbursement, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, all right, man, like, I had a kid the other day, man, like, he ain't eat. All right, I got some Wawa points, man, I'm going to get you a hoagie, man.
So you think it's just that in general is just rewiring, and like you said, rewiring the bad habits?
Yes, I think that's I think as far, because everything else that we just mentioned, I've been doing that, and that's not something that I want to, like, hey, I gave you a ride all the way from here to here, and then I pull up and there's 2 cars in the driveway. I don't care about that type of stuff. That comes with the territory. But to me, I think the biggest obstacle that I'm going to face this year is I gotta be a better teacher. I gotta be a better teacher because you know, in my previous roles, yes, like me being a JV coach, JV is a developmental level, and I'm still teaching, but the role that I'm in now, people really didn't see that. You know, they saw me as the assistant. Let's get real. The head coach is the one that all eyes are on. You know what I'm saying? So for me, since I have that bigger role, I have to be a better teacher.
I don't think people say that enough. That was a really good ending to your answer. Like, I got to be a better teacher. It's like, are we actually teaching the correct way, or do it take us 4 times to get through to a kid? Like, that's a whole nother level of coaching I don't think people is really paying attention to. Like, if this kid isn't getting it, are we gonna just blame the kid for not getting it, or do I need to adjust how they learn? You ahead of the curve already.
Yeah, man.
But let me play devil's advocate.
Okay.
How you gonna keep yourself from going crazy? Because you might say that now. This season ain't started yet. You might say that now. The kid can't do a dribble handoff, but when he can't do that dribble handoff in a game, how you gonna keep yourself from going crazy? And I gotta ask you that is because no matter what we say, you're gonna tell a kid to do something, and then you're gonna tell the kid the defense is gonna do this or the offense is gonna do this. They're still gonna do it the exact same, the opposite way that you told them not to do it, and so only you gonna know that.
You got the right choice.
And your team gonna suffer for it.
You got the right choice, the wrong choice, and your choice.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the right choice.
But they didn't listen to you, John.
Right. And technically, them not knowing is the wrong choice. So when you make the wrong choice, you can be corrected. But then now, you're making your choice by not listening to me, and that's cool, because guess what? I gotta make a choice now. So, okay, you can't do that dribble handoff after we've been, repping it in practice, and you decided that you're not going to do the way I taught you. You're just going to do it your way. That's fine. I got a freshman, sophomore right here. All right, you go down to that level until you figure it out. I'm gonna have this guy here. I'm gonna see what choice he makes.
This is a really good conversation because they never seen it before though. So it's a really tricky thing, right? Go back to Kip, for example. I started 4 sophomores that never seen a high school, JV, freshman, nothing. They never seen a high school basketball court in their life, and I got threw them into the fire at varsity. I say this all the time. We didn't go 9-10 because we were a 9-10 average team. We went 9-10 because I told them what was going to happen, and they still did the opposite in games. As hard as it was for me, I chalked it up to them just not knowing and have to physically and visually see that stuff happen in the game. And it did. Okay. And I think it paid off in the long run because we lost a playoff game to Wildwood that we just frankly shouldn't have lost. And they knew that, but it was because of those hard-headed things. Yes. It was because you didn't show up in the summer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
You thought, and the thing about it is you thought that you were better than you really were. And once again, man, people are everything that they say that they're not. When I was sitting here in this chair 3 years ago, I thought I was one of the best coaches in Burlington County.
Okay.
When I didn't really have a clue.
Okay.
So yes, you're gonna have those type of people where it's you think that you know something, but just like you said, you have to throw them into the fire so that way that they understand it, because wisdom comes through experience. Now, once again, I'm teaching you this. I'm teaching you how to do something. Also, on another hand, they may not be comprehending it, and they may need the more reps at a lower level. Because once again, man, one thing that I will tell the kids, and because every kid we both know has a stigma about playing freshman and JV. Everybody wants to play varsity. But in all reality, some kids are not ready for that varsity level. To your point, the speed of it, you know, like how fast everything moves. You have to make quick decisions. Okay, cool. I want you to work on this junior varsity level. If you master it and you're doing this, then I'll think like you're ready for the reps at the varsity level. Now, I need to allow, I also as a coach, you need to allow them to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I need to allow them to make mistakes because once again, you're either going to learn from them or you're going to digress. Mm-hmm. And once you make the choice to learn from your mistakes and get better, or you make the choice to be mentally weak and digress, and then that's when I make my choice.
Okay. But they still don't do it. So, and I'm saying this because I'm thinking like in terms again of building a program, right? Mm-hmm. Like I think the hardest thing is to first get people to buy in overall, but right. You got to get them to play hard as possible all the time.
Of course.
Right, hard as possible all the time. The nuances of basketball and the language and the lingo and the schematics. Mm-hmm. If you've never seen or heard these things before, it's not the easiest thing to digest.
Of course.
Right? So in those moments, let's say it's a freshman or a sophomore, right? Mm-hmm. Like that wants to be there, but they just can't get right or whatever, like that. You know what I mean? And you telling them the right thing, but you still got to go home at night with these emotions, like knowing I was right, knowing that they just not getting it right now, and we just got some time to get it together. But I know it's gonna come. But like, damn, I want it now. You know, I want it now. I want it now. How are you gonna deal with that? You know, from an emotional standpoint, because that's all this is at this point. If you teaching it the right way,
I think it's just nothing, man. Let me tell you something. I guess I gotta revert back to my faith. It's nothing but prayer, man. And then just knowing that, hey, listen, man, when it's the time, it's the time. Because, you know, when I think about somebody else, I think about myself. And it's like, hey, listen, there were times where I didn't get it. There were times where I couldn't comprehend. There were times where I didn't have it right now. I gave myself that grace. And we gotta give these kids a grace, especially if they're freshmen and sophomores. They got 3 or 4 years with you. They may not even get it until their senior year, but that senior year we're gonna be rolling.
Right.
We're gonna be rolling.
Right.
So, you know, with the emotions, yes, man. As a coach, we're always gonna have emotions, man. Let me tell you something. We can play a pickup game and I'll go home and overthink that. Like, what could we done better? Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's just, I think that's just one of those nuances as a coach that, you know, you just naturally think about, hey, what can we have done to do better? What can I do to be a better coach?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. It's like, I had that feeling like maybe a couple times in my life, like, oh my God, I missed that. Mm-hmm. Right? And I was sick to my stomach from it. But like you said, if I go into it, I could really sleep good at night if I was like, yo, I dotted every single I that I could in this game and prepared them as much.
Yes.
And still, because we gotta be honest, like you don't be wanting to speak to these kids after games when they're not listening to you. And I still found a way to show them that I love them after the game.
Yeah.
Like I'm good with the outcome because, you know, like we did the maximum of what we can do.
Yes.
At this point,
you have to be okay with the results, though.
You
do. And then let me tell you something. You always have to have constant conversations. We're having a conversation right now. It's the same thing you got to have with these kids, man. You gotta listen. You gotta show them toughness. You gotta show them love, and you gotta know that toughness that I'm showing you is out of love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? After our workouts yesterday, I just met some of them. You know what I mean? It was my first time meeting most of those guys. Like, we had a good turnout, like 25 guys at our workouts and everything. And you know, after they were done, you know, like I said, we had a conversation, and I told them, hey, the number one thing that I want from them is, I'm gonna call it just being bro tough. People think, you know, you may think being tough is all a physical thing, but in reality, 95% of it is all mental. I want you guys to be as mentally disciplined and as mentally tough as possible. you guys are kids. I know things are going to happen. But if you can tell yourself to do the right thing even when you don't feel like it, that's being mentally tough. When you can tell yourself to touch the line even when you're tired, that's being mentally tough. When everybody else is going left, but you know the right way is the right side, that's being mentally tough.
We're in a world full of people. We in a world full of people going left, John. We're in a world full of it.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest parts.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest parts. Mm-hmm. How are you with your ego right now as far as from I mean, look, again, the exciting part is there. I'm a first year coach. I want to be successful as quick as possible. Mm-hmm. You know, like you might be in a still prove it stage to people, like certain people. Like, how is your ego going into this whole ordeal? Because the reality is, like, you are in Willingboro.
Well, I'm gonna beat West Tech. I know that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna beat West Tech.
I was waiting for this guy to drop some type of bomb, man.
Beat West Tech. I know that one.
Okay. So so you kind of answered this question about your ego, but go ahead. You can elaborate.
It goes. Listen, man. The thing about it is, man. I'll say it like this: there's a difference between confidence and arrogance, right? Mm-hmm. Confidence comes from knowing that you prepared and you put in the work for this. Mm-hmm. And being arrogant is playing a role to impress other people. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to impress anybody. Mm-hmm. I'm doing something that I love, that I'm passionate about, and that God put me on this world for this purpose. Mm. And so as far as my ego, we're human. We all have egotistical moments, you know what I'm saying? But to me, you know, once again, man, nobody can ever make me feel bad about how I coach and the way I coach, because at the end of the day, man, I know that my purpose is those kids, man. And if those kids come to me and say, yo, Coach Pat, I want to play for you. Yo, thank you. I appreciate the ride. I appreciate the food. I appreciate the talk. I appreciate you listening to me. That's the biggest satisfaction that I get out of this.
Ego is extremely important. I really don't care what anybody say as far as a negative thing about being egotistical, mm-hmm. because you a black, you a head coach mm-hmm. for the first time. It's like, and I'm saying this because like you got a fan base that love their basketball, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and that's amazing. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. But they also think they know every single thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's coming from passion, but you know, it is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. And you in a position right now, you the guy. Yeah. You the guy. So you put the best product out there and it's still not enough. Mm-hmm. Are they gonna be okay with that? And you know, you gotta be the person that's like, I mean, respectfully, I really don't care if y'all okay with it or not. Like, I want y'all to still support and see, like, really look at what's happening and look at how it's turning. Mm-hmm. But it ain't the end all be all, because mm-hmm. we moving this way either way. Like, mm-hmm. you know, because I'm that confident in myself. And if you want to ask questions, like, I'm here alone. It's lonely as a first year head coach. Yeah. It's very lonely. Mm-hmm. And you can't stutter in front of people and say, well, what do you think? What do you think? No, this is what we doing. Yeah. This is what we doing. You know, and you can't not have ego. We're going about that type of way. Mm-hmm. You listen to all these people, man, you done before you start.
But would you call it ego? Or would you call it being confident? Now, obviously, that's your question. But now, I want to ask the interviewer a question. Though. Would you call that ego? Would you call that confidence?
That's a really fine line of a question. Me, mm-hmm. confidence.
How much film?
Confidence.
How much film do you watch on a daily basis?
Are you crazy?
How much?
Are you insane?
How much? Like
what?
How detailed are you in this? Are you teaching them to play, or are you running plays? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you the ones? Is your car full every time you pull up to the gym? How many text messages you get? How many text messages do you have to send out on a regular basis? How many knucklehead things have you seen on social media where you got to hit the relax?
Yeah. Every day.
You know what I'm saying?
Every
Or is it that, hey, you see that trophy collection I got right there? That's all me. Yo, you see that plaque I got right there? That's all me.
Ego and confidence.
Ego, confidence.
Yeah.
That's just my perception of it.
Yeah.
I do things for purpose, not popularity. I care if you don't like me, you don't like the way I coach, that's fine. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to be a purpose for these kids. If we go 0-25, but we know from the internal part that those kids.
1-24. We know that for certain.
Oh yeah,
we know that for certain.
West Tech. West Tech, yeah, 1-24. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, that wasn't my bad. It wasn't on the schedule at that time. If we go 0-25, man, like I said, from an internal standpoint, if those kids, man, if somebody asks you, yo, like how was playing for him? I learned a lot.
Success.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Let's end with this. What's WILLINGBORO getting out of John Patterson as the head coach of WILLINGBORO High School boys basketball team?
Everything.
Straight like that. I don't even have nothing else to say. Well, look, man. I said this off air. We talk all the time, man. I'm extremely proud of you. One thing you've always been was a hard worker. You know, how long was we on the staff together? Just that 1 year? That's it?
That's it.
Man. Yeah, you always been an extremely hard worker, man. I can't really put into words how proud I am of where you are. I know I don't have to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
Don't take it for granted. However hard that you worked, it's going to have to be 5 times that. You were in a very fortunate situation. And WILLINGBORO is WILLINGBORO. And I learned that the hard way. When I first got to West Tech, I was like, I'm from Camden, man. Like, I don't care about the world. Like, nobody else got basketball players like Camden kids. So I went into Burlington and I got humbled extremely quickly with the plethora of talent that Burlington County offers. It's insane if they all just stayed there, but that's a whole nother story. Yeah, you're in an extremely fortunate situation, man. I'm here for you. I can't wait to see your progress this year. I need the date when you play West Tech because, man, that is gonna be funny.
Trust and believe. Well, we gonna sell a gym out, man. We gonna sell the gym out, man.
John Patterson, WILLINGBORO High School, man. You got a good one. You got somebody that's gonna be in the community and do everything necessary in order to be successful. You know, with the athletes that y'all get year in and year out, it should be fun. You know, so ride out with them and support them, and let's get it started, man. It's close. It's coming. It's coming. No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure, brother.
No pressure.
It's like you said, we're gonna work hard and live with the results, man.
There you go.
We definitely gonna whoop West Tech. That's all I know.
Woo! He said it 4 times on camera.
That's all I know.
Oh man, you hear that, Jeff?
That's all